Hey, what's up? My name is Tara. I've been here on YouTube making videos since 2014, and I opened up my skincare business in 2016 and I closed it in 2021. So I do have a good amount of experience in business, and I want to talk to you guys about the 3 most valuable things I learned while being in business. Now, disclaimer, these are just the 3 most valuable things to me personally, not just in general. Being my own parent. That might sound a little juvenile maybe to some people, but when I started my business, I was in my early 20s, and I looked at the world completely different than I do today. And running my own business really kind of just concreted the fact that you are alone in the world. And I don't mean that in like a bad way. It's more like you gotta twist it into a positive way. You are your parent, you are your own child, you are your own annoyance, you are your own worst enemy. You kind of are it all, and you need to learn to parent all of that. And I really hope that makes sense. But when you're running your own business, a lot of thoughts and things can come up in your mind, and it's really important to try to organize those thoughts into, okay, is that a child thought? Is that a mature thought? Is that Tara's real thought? Is that my worst enemy telling me to do that? And owning my own business has really taught me how to parent myself, how to be okay with being alone. And this might get into the next topic, but my business has taught me how to say no and know my limits. So it's taught me how to parent myself, but it also taught me how to stand my own ground, how to stand up for what I believe in, how to say no and mean it, how to say yes and mean it, and just how to know when enough is enough and how to know when I should take the chance. Because things can move fast when you're in business, and it's really important to have a plan to know what's too much for you and know what you can't take on. Because remember, you are alone. I guess unless you have a partner in your business and you're not alone, but I, for one, was alone, and I know most people who are watching are alone in their business. You got to remember, what can you tackle on your own and take on that. Now, obviously, if you're a bigger small business, that's a little different. But I think it's just really common for a lot of people to see other small businesses kind of get help. Like their mom will help, or their aunt, or their grandpa. I don't have that. And let's be real, most people don't have that. Most people don't have someone in their family who has enough free time to happily help. That's just not reality. This will get into my other thing I learned. Because once I got to a point where I actually had to hire people, this is where my morals got challenged. This is where people kept telling me I should be hiring young people, barely pay them anything to get things done. And I didn't like that. When I imagined me growing my business and getting to a point of having employees, I seen it as a way to employ my loved ones. Like, I really wanted my business to be something that all my loved ones could also reap the benefits of. I figured I would have enough to pay them. But when it really came down to it, I realized I don't have enough money to pay somebody what I'm morally comfortable with. I don't want to pay someone minimum wage. That doesn't feel comfortable to me. So this is the point where my morals were challenged, and I think anybody who's in business, a point will come where your morals are challenged. And I think some people are willing to find someone in another country to employ, barely pay them anything. Someone's given me that advice as well. All that stuff just doesn't feel right to me. That might be what works for someone else, but to me, that's not what I wanted to do. I always imagined my business being something I shared with my loved ones once I started to reap benefits from it. But in reality, your business has to make so much money in order to pay another person a morally comfortable wage, in my opinion. I didn't even make enough to pay myself a morally wage from my business. And I was willing to, give up that payment, because that's normally what happens in business. The founders of the businesses typically don't make much money at first. And I was willing to give that money to my employees. And I did test the idea of having an employee and paying them a wage I was comfortable with, but the time and effort it took into also training people to do how I wanted them to do it, it was a lot. I just realized I was not comfortable doing a lot of things that are standard in business in order to get your business off the ground. But yeah, so there will definitely be a point where your morals are tested. And yeah, I really learned what my morals are and like what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not comfortable with. All right, now this last one isn't a lesson I specifically learned. This is just what I did. And it's a lesson I want to share with you guys because it's a mistake I commonly see done specifically by YouTubers. So whether you own a brand, a business, whatever you may be doing, there will be a point where it takes off and you start making a lot more money. And this money might be numbers that you're not comfortable with, that you've never seen. And you decide to spend your hard-earned cash on stuff because you're like, wow, I have worked my ass off for 10 years. I'm gonna buy myself some stuff. Don't do that. Save your money. Just put it in savings. Put it in a CD, put it in something where you're not gonna lose it. Don't put it in Bitcoin. This is just my advice. I can't give you advice on where to put your money, but save it. Obviously spend some of it. If you need a new car, if you have a junk vehicle that breaks down, get yourself a new car. Don't go buying a Lambo or a stupid convertible that you don't need and it's just gonna be maintenance. Get yourself a car that you need. You need 4-wheel drive because it snows where you are? Get one with 4-wheel drive. That's what I did. I got all-wheel drive because I needed it because my car literally just stopped working on my way home one day and I was like, crap. And it's more expensive to fix it than it is the overall value because I've had it since I was 16. And yeah, I got myself a car and I paid it in cash so I didn't have to pay more on it over time. And other people might argue against that, but if you come into money and you have a bunch of it, you're sitting pretty and you need a new car, just buy it in full. Buy it in cash. You will save money. You don't need to make payments unless you need to build your credit. My credit's great. Didn't need to build my credit. So that's my advice. Also, in case you later, go back down, you don't have to worry about that car payment. It's paid off and you don't have really expensive insurance. That's my advice. If you buy a house because you need a home because the one you live in just isn't working for your business and what you do, that's what I had to do. I just was outgrowing it. I had to move. I bought a house that I could afford even before my business took off. If my business, and I have to like go back to waitressing, I can afford my lifestyle. Just because my income went up, I didn't change my lifestyle. I just kept it the same. Now, listen, I didn't even take off that much. In 2020, my YouTube channel did grow a lot. My business did amazing, but obviously it was such a little business. I was doing it myself. So you can't imagine I made that much money. But from just getting like a few views and a few sales every once in a while, that income versus what I was having, it was a big jump. And I was finally able to afford things I never could. And it made me nervous. So I just saved the money. That's how I dealt with it. When I finally made money, I'm like, put it away. I don't want to look at it. I just pretended it wasn't there. And that was a good idea because now I have a good amount of savings for when I retire and I'm still making enough to afford my regular lifestyle. My car is paid off. I put a lot of money down on my home, so my monthly payments are really cheap. That's everything I learned while I was in business. And if you want to see a video on all the reasons why I will never have a skincare business again, let me know and I'll do a video on that.
Also, don't forget to go over and check out my Patreon where I post 2 exclusive videos every single month. So there is a ton of videos you can go over and binge watch for only $5 a month. Also, if you don't have access to Patreon in your country, you can sign up as a YouTube member instead. If you sign up for the $10 tier on my Patreon, you get a shout out for your small business. I'll have all these brands linked below. naturesmagicllc.com. From Dusk Soapery on Etsy, LloydCandleCompany.com, HB Royal Retreat Store on Etsy, NaturesFarmGirl.com, Let's Blend LLC, at Stardust Bath and Body, HempyGirl.com, ShopLevi's.com, Owl and Lily over on Etsy, Skin Lounge Co. over on Etsy, BlackPetalBeauty.com, EmbraceBeautyEssentials.com, LegendaryBathandBody.com, AstariApothecary.com, Reviga Cosmetics here on YouTube, XoreBB.com, PardoNaturals.com, NaturalStateSkin.com, TheNatureInUs.ca, NearCatalier.com. Use the code on the screen for 20% off. EarthAndAmberNaturals.com, SharkCityNaturals.com, DayToRelaxProducts.com, CrownedGloryLLC.com, LH Scented Soaps and More.com, JanaeRose.com, Health Nut Beauty on Etsy, VelvetTemptations.com, JourneyRoseBeauty.com, CHRBrands.com, Homestead Life Goods on Etsy, CanelaBathandBody.com, MadhouseMamaSoaps.com, XPO.com, Mystical Morning on Etsy, 7th House and Oak on Etsy, and MyCrownandGlory.com. Thank you so much for you guys' support. Without you guys over on Patreon, I wouldn't be able to do what I do, so thank you so much.